Viewers, this is our rolling coverage of the biggest story that's broken around the world. Shiv and I, Vishnu and I will keep getting you all the details of this. Vishnu, you've been reporting extensively on this over the course of this entire conflict, the kind of weaponry that has been used, how unprecedented this attack is, and how it's likely to reshape this entire region going forward. First of all, talk to us about the last 2 hours, the kind of attack this has been, and then we of course walk our viewers who are tuning in right now to how this is likely to reshape the war and the conflict itself going forward.
You know, Gauri, this is a pivotal moment in the history of the world. This is the first time that America has gone into this particular crisis with military strikes on not 1 or 2 but 3 Iranian nuclear reactors. Donald Trump was vacillating on this. He was, let's give it a few more days, let's give it a few more weeks, let's see what finally takes place. But now America has gone in on these strikes. There was a big elaborate social media sort of effort to try and confuse perhaps, suggesting that the bombers, which were B-2 stealth bombers, were being routed across the Pacific. In fact, it now appears that the bombers which were used may have been deployed from elsewhere. Irrespective, they have used massive ordnance on the Fordo facility. They have used Tomahawk cruise missiles, at least 30, which were fired from submarines and possibly warships in the Persian Gulf region, which have targeted Natanz and Esfahan as well. There is no nuclear radiation which has taken place. The big question now is, what will Iran do next? Iran has already been making threats, saying that they're going to be taking out targets of the Americans, which have several bases in the region.
Yes.
They don't appear to have done that so far, but they have certainly struck at Israel in the last hour or so with multiple impact points of Iranian ballistic missiles. Presumably, dozens of Iranian missiles have been intercepted as well.
Absolutely. And let's get in Mohammad Ghazali to tell us more in terms of what could be the kind of Iranian response here. In fact, the Iranian foreign minister said that with US now walking into this conflict, it changes the dimensions completely. Ghazali, you've been working the phones. Talk to us about what is likely to happen from the Iranian side. As Vishnu also said, right now, some set of missiles have come in on several Israeli cities. We are still evaluating and getting you in terms of what is the kind of impact. Till then, talk to us about what are your sources telling you in terms of what could be the Iranian impact and Iranian response to this.
See, Gauri, Iran has not launched any attacks against US bases or US properties anywhere in the Middle East, considering the fact that US wanted a regime change. That was one of the aims of the war which Israel had launched against Iran. But that regime change didn't happen, but an attack on nuclear site happened. Now, sources are confirming that US administration had already informed Iran that they are not going for a regime change. They are not going to attack on Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, but certainly they want a denuclearized Iran. That is why this attack. In a sense now, Iran doesn't want to be in a rush. That's why their first attack or their first response had been against Israel and no such attack against US bases, because the US bases are there in multiple Middle Eastern countries and some of them are very close allies of Iran. And that is why Iran is in a catch-22 situation as well, that it doesn't want to rub its own allies on the wrong side. Iran also knows that it's alone in the region. There has been no support as such when it comes to the military support from any of its Middle Eastern neighbors. Even Russia and China have only given verbal support, support or condemnation of the attacks on its nuclear facilities earlier by Israel. But even there have been meeky response even now when US has launched those attacks overnight. So as of now, it is also believed that Iran never sort of gets into a war in a rush. It goes for a war of attrition. It wants to drag it for as many days as it can, and it will also be a threat for all the US tourists or army personnel present in the Middle East region. It will also wait and watch because the back channel doors for negotiations are also open. Its UN envoy in the United Nations has appealed for a strict action against the United States, which is a signatory of NPT, and despite that its own nuclear facilities were attacked by United States. So all these suggest that perhaps Iran is still in that wait and watch mode, that it will pursue the negotiations as well, but it will continue to retaliate against Israel, but not United States as of now.